the May 20th hearing of the California State University Board of Trustees. First, it's always nice to have Speaker Atkins with us, and welcome, and I'm glad you could be with us today. I also want to recognize our newest colleague, Sai Abreu, who's joining us for his first meeting, and I'm going to yield the floor to him in a bit and allow him to make any remarks. But Sai, welcome back to the CSU, I guess I should say, in your case. So, Ms. Hernandez, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Abrego? Trustee Alexanian? Here. Trustee Brewer? Here. Governor Brown? Speaker Atkins? Trustee Day? Trustee Eisen? Trustee Fagan? Here. Trustee Farrar? Here. Trustee Fortune? Here. Trustee Garcia? Trustee Glazier? Trustee Kimbell? Here. Trustee Monville? Here. Trustee Morales? Here. Lieutenant Governor Newsom? Trustee Norton? Here. Trustee Stepanek? Here. Trustee Taylor? Superintendent Torlakson, Chancellor White. Chair Monville, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hernandez. This is the time in which the board hears from public speakers. We will proceed with a 30-minute period for public comments. Speakers will have 3 minutes for their remarks. When a speaker's time ends, I would ask that you yield the microphone so that the next speaker may address the board, and we be mindful of our time constraints. Ms. Hernandez, would you please call the speakers?
I'll be calling 3 names at a time. Please line up at the closest microphone. Anna Norris, Ahmad, and Kathleen Wong. Ms. Norris?
Thank you for the opportunity. I understand the board is not a forum to present student grievances, and I will not. My name is Anna Norris. I am a guest student from Sacramento. I graduated with honors from CSUS as a social worker in May 2013. Right after graduation, I was accepted with another 122 students among 475 plus applicants for the 2-year social work graduate program. In 2014, I received a wonderful intern award from Wells Springs, the agency where I was placed for my first year's internship. Today, I am deprived from graduation this May. Again, I understand the board is not a forum to present student grievances, and I will not. However, I am here to state that I have not had my appeals heard at school. I have not had a fair hearing at Sac State, and need to find out from the members in this forum who is the administrator that I need to speak to so as to make this possible. I want answers to the injustice I have been subjected to, and need not only to be fully heard regarding this issue, but for a true-to-fact investigation regarding this matter to be conducted and as requested before the Chancellor's office just last week. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to expose this situation. I am hoping that somebody here will contact me with the right administrator that will pursue this issue so that I receive justice, which I haven't so far. Thank you. Again, my name, Anna Norris.
Good morning, everyone. I'm on this side. My name is Isra Ahmad, and I'm the San Jose State Student Representative on the COF board. And we are here to thank Chancellor White for creating a task force for looking into strengthening the CSU smoke and tobacco-free policies. We would also like to thank the presidents from Fullerton, Northridge, Sacramento, San Diego, Sonoma, and my alma mater, San Jose State, for taking the initiative in adopting a stronger smoke and tobacco-free policy. We would also like to thank the system-wide academic senate for the resolution to support a smoke-free system policy.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Wong, and I am from Cal Poly Pomona. I believe that we need a stronger system policy, and I encourage the Chancellor's Office to adopt a policy that will promote a healthy and safe campus environment, free of tobacco, system-wide. Currently, there are over 1,000 campuses across the United States that are smoke and tobacco free. We hope that the California state system joins this positive trend. Thank you, and we appreciate the board for taking the time and initiative on this issue.
Pat Gant, Mike Geck, Joan Kennedy.
Good morning. My name is Pat Gann. I'm the president of the California State University Employees Union. I come before you today. Thank you for the opportunity. We have a little breath of good news in the May revise, where their base budget appears to be moving in the right direction. I think this is a result of everyone in this room and all of our friends, family, and people we represent working together to basically carry the message into Sacramento, and the governor apparently has blinked. However, he hasn't blinked enough. We still need to basically meet a few more dollars to meet the full funding request of the CSU. So we need to work a little harder to keep his eyes open and work with our friends in the legislature. Speaker Atkins, thank you for your ongoing support and advocacy on behalf of the CSU. One of the things I think is the best message that in walking the halls, that carries the tune, that really helps deliver what the problem is. As we are dealing with the realities of Prop 98 and Prop 2 and the windfall dollars, the disproportionate funding of higher education, and yes, I'm talking about community colleges, creates an ongoing problem for the CSU as far as, one, absorbing the transfer students coming out of a system that added 50,000 students last year, where we turned away over 15,000 students. So there's a disconnect there, and it is about the dollars. And moving forward, the CSU is going to need larger base funding than what currently has to maintain service levels to the students, support the classes, and maintain competitive salaries so that you do not run into a larger problem of recruitment and retention for the faculty and staff that serve the students and the institution. The CSU is willing to work with everyone in this room and outside to make sure that the CSU is fully funded and carry the message to every corner of the Capitol necessary. See you in Sacramento.
Good morning, Mike Geck, Vice President for Organizing for CSUU. Yesterday I spoke about the epidemic of bullying and abuse in the CSU workplace. Today I'll be speaking on behalf of my chapter, Chapter 318, San Marcos, on a subset of bullying, and that's retaliation. Bullying in and of itself is bad enough, but when someone stands up for themselves to enforce their rights and is coerced, bullied, or even worse, disciplined or fired, and management simply stands by and allows this behavior to continue, it sends a chilling message to all staff. What we continue to face on many campuses is a culture of coercion to do more with less, flat staffing in the face of increased enrollment, more buildings, and more classes. Coercion to be a team player who works for free and never mentions overtime. Coercion to stand by silently while so-called troublemakers who do enforce their rights are targeted and removed from the workplace. The union cannot be one of those silent bystanders. Our stewards and activists are in the workplace trying to protect all of our rights. The right to overtime, the right to a reasonable workload, and the right to representation when bullied by bad bosses. We're going to speak the truth to power when this happens. When we have an officer like LaShann Wilkerson targeted at CSU San Marcos for questioning unpaid hours, we're going to do more than file a grievance or go to the state personnel board. We're going to put her name on the pages of our meetings and your meetings. We cannot allow coercion to replace compliance as a campus value. Bullying, fear, intimidation, and retaliation are not CSU values. Thank you.
Hello, Joan Kennedy, CSUEU Chapter President at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Go Mustangs! Thank you very much for allowing me to speak for you today. On behalf of CSUEU Unit 5 at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, we would like to thank President Armstrong for addressing the lowest paid employees on campus. The President's management team developed a local compensation program that awarded classifications that included custodians, warehouse, and grounds workers that fell below the CSU average and were hired before 2012. It's a page turner. I am happy to report that 100 of the lowest paid employees at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo were awarded in-range progressions that were promoted by management submitted in-range progressions. Not only did they receive at least a 3% increase in their salary, the average was 4%. And in addition to that, it was retroactive to July 2014. As Cal Poly moves towards building a cohesive campus community with mutual respect, CSUEU encourages other campus presidents to recognize the importance of staff and their dedication to the CSU. We thank President Armstrong for respecting staff for their hard work and their contributions to campus climate. Now, as we move toward phase 2 and 3 of the local compensation program, we are encouraged by the collective effort that includes staff, faculty, and students to address additional salary adjustments in the future to create, and in the future we will be creating a budget committee that is currently being formed, and I believe it's going to meet for the first time this Friday. It must be noted that without addressing additional compensation that includes staff is short-sighted. I wanted to share a personal insight. When the HR and I went to inform the custodians that they were going to be receiving this in-range progression, you could hear a pin drop. After a while, I asked one of the custodians, "Why isn't anybody asking any questions? Why is everybody so quiet?" And she said, "They can't believe it, and nothing ever good happens to us." Once again, thank you, President Armstrong, for making something good happen at Cal Poly.
Kim Harrington, Alessandra Brewer, and Jennifer Egan.
Good morning and greetings, Chancellor White, trustees, presidents, and distinguished guests. My name is Kim Harrington, and I serve as a professional development coordinator in the Office of Human Resources at California State University, Sacramento. I'm also the chapter president and chief steward, and I'm also the statewide chair for our CSUEU committee. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today and to express my thank you, and it is a thank you, to serve, to have the opportunity to serve as a CSUEU representative to the work group on work environment at the CSU. I thank the CSU leadership for, I'm sorry, this means so much, for making efforts to address the onerous working conditions that are a direct result of abusive conduct in the workplace. Abusive conduct in the workplace has eroded the image and brand of the CSU as an employer of choice in the state. We commend Chancellor White and Vice Chancellor Lori Lamb for taking our expressed concerns seriously and being engaged in gathering data developing assessment strategies, and delivering near future action plans that will ultimately manifest in a healthy and respectful workplace. As stated by our statewide president, Pat Gant, we will engage cooperatively and collaboratively with the CSU. We are committed. Caring about and taking action to right the ship in the workplace and environment must be a priority. Lastly, we thank you. We ask you to consider the employees of the CSU as human capital and talent, not staff or faculty, but the talented, knowledgeable, skilled employees, people who make the CSU the CSU. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alessandra Brewer, the Vice President for Representation for CSUEU, proudly calling Sonoma State my home. And I believe my sister Joan Kennedy actually said a lot of what I wanted to say, so I'll make it a little broader and thank those of you who have or are considering equity programs for our staff. We've stood up here for a long time and told you how hard it is on many of our people not even making a living wage. And I encourage you, those who haven't gotten to that point yet, I hope that you still will. Thank you very much for taking us seriously, Chancellor White and the presidents and the trustees, for actually paying attention to staff. We spent years standing here talking to you with a blind ear turned to us and our issues. I feel that we're really being addressed now. Vice Chancellor Lamb, thank you for the work you've been doing. Also, we've had very progressive meet and confers, collaborative work being done with the union, and that makes for a more harmonious relationship overall.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Egan. I'm a professor at California State University, East Bay, and incoming president of California Faculty Association. I'm here today to urge you to read carefully our fourth paper in the Race to the Bottom series called The Price Students Pay. I think this is the most important paper in our series, and it's good quality research done by your own faculty, so I'm sure you will be very eager to read it. As CFA developed the Race to the Bottom papers, we have seen disturbing trends in the findings. In the first paper, we discovered that while everyone was that at this point in time, CSU faculty are uniquely behind. Others within public higher education, K-12, community colleges, and the UC are catching up. Management in the CSU has certainly caught up and are getting ahead. The faculty are not. In our second paper, we discovered a partial but key part of the cause. The executives and management have advanced their own careers and interests over the mission of the university. They are making more money and finding ways to promote more. They have increased the number of jobs in management. In our first, we gathered the voices of our faculty, discovering the truth about their lived conditions. You'll hear more about that later. We discovered that our faculty professionals with higher degrees are falling out of the middle class and struggling to make ends meet. If we're falling out of the middle class, who on earth is staying in it? This means basic things like not being able to send your own kids to college without falling into crushing debt, or buying a home or a car. And perhaps worse than that, many of our faculty colleagues are treated as disposable, replaceable labor in so-called temporary jobs that last for whole careers. Our lagging behind in salary and facing temporary appointments does not only affect us. Our fourth paper in the Race to the Bottom series is entitled The Price Students Pay. It shows the impact of this disrespect for the work that faculty do on students. When CSU management adopts a fast food model of hiring practices, complete with an unfair salary structure, a higher workload for fewer faculty members, increasing numbers of part-time and temporary faculty, all accompanied by extraordinary pay for managers, both faculty and students feel the impact. Students, our students, who need one-on-one attention, mentorship, letters of recommendation for jobs in graduate school can't get our full attention. Please do not get me wrong. Our faculty go to extraordinary lengths to provide care and attention to our students. But at a certain point, it's not a matter of goodwill or compassion. It's a matter of arithmetic. I've learned from the math faculty to not say math, but to say arithmetic. There are no longer enough hours in the day or days in the week for faculty to provide for their own financial needs and the needs of their students at the same time. This system is unsustainable, so I urge you to read our research in paper number 4 and take it very much to heart. This paper is about the most important thing, our students. Thank you.
Patricia Garcia, Nick Bayham, and Emily Beals.
Good morning. My name is Trisha Garcia, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the students of Cal State East Bay. I know that painting a picture of 3 college students in a single studio apartment attempting to sleep over the cacophony of their rumbling stomachs will not move you. Starving student stereotype has been a joke for years. But what's funny about holding a PhD in one hand and food stamps in the other? It's hard enough for college students to juggle attending their professors' office hours around our other classes and several jobs. But now when I meet with my professors, it's a double act. Both of us juggling multiple classes and 2 or 3 other jobs off campus, trying to find time to meet. How can I believe in the opportunity provided by a higher education when the very people who give me that education are stuck in the same grind I am? One of my professors was priced out of their homes and served an eviction notice. While dealing with that crisis, he had to cancel several class meetings. How can I ask him to spend time mentoring me and guiding me when he faces homelessness? It seems to me that there's been a misunderstanding. I do not receive my education from a university. As an English and philosophy major, I specialize in semantics, so I assure you I can make this distinction with authority. I am not educated by a university. A university is a community comprised of architectural features like buildings, sidewalks, and green space, and people like students, staff, and faculty. I receive my education in the university. I receive my education from my professors who produce that education by crafting and giving lectures, designing and grading assignments, and most especially by answering my questions and asking their own. This work takes tremendous time and effort. When my professors cannot make ends meet for themselves and their families, they are forced to take on additional positions elsewhere. They have to earn enough to pay their bills one way or the other. College-level arithmetic tells me this time away from campus means they have less time to share with me and other students. Students need professors. Buildings, sidewalks, green space, staff, and yes, administrators and even trustees are not enough to produce an education. A high-quality university needs its professors. I call on you to provide livable salaries and to hire more faculty into permanent teaching positions so that they can and will be there for us, the students, the people this university system exists to serve when we need them.
Good morning, Chancellor White, trustees, presidents, and guests. My name is Nicholas Bayham, and I'm a tenured full professor at California State University East Bay and the new CFA chapter president. I have served the CSU system for 15 years. Even after all of these years, my grasp on a middle-class lifestyle is tenuous, and my status as a professional has been greatly diminished. It's difficult for me to speak openly about these matters, particularly in this venue. Nevertheless, I think it's time that we all speak out our truths and demand equity. As for my story, very briefly, I purchased a very small starter home in a dangerous neighborhood in East Oakland when I received my tenure-track position. It was what I could afford. I lived across the street from a family that dealt drugs, and I dealt with sideshow events and the smell of burning tires daily. When my son was born, I knew that I simply had to move out. We managed somehow to move into a slightly better neighborhood, but from the beginning, I knew that my mortgage, even for a modest 2-bedroom home, was unsustainable. Eventually, I lost my home, even as I was nearing tenure, struggling every month to pay my mortgage and find a way out of no way to pay my property taxes every year. I had to find other means of work. I actually, for a brief while, sold on eBay, refurbishing instruments and selling them up at a slightly higher cost than what I had purchased them for. But I also went into debt, almost $30,000 in credit card debt. And I suffered runaway high blood pressure during this period due to stress. And this has affected my long-term heart health. Of course, we've since learned that in spite of the financial crisis, many campuses were hoarding money, and administrative salaries kept pace with inflation, even as faculty like myself made difficult sacrifices. My son is 11 years of age, and I have yet to be able to put aside money for his college education. There's perhaps no greater experience of exploitation than a professor who cannot afford to live in the area where he teaches, nor send his son to the same schools that he attended. There is a profound sense of demoralization amongst faculty throughout the system. We know that we are being exploited. We watch every day as administrative salaries rise and some new and unnecessary administrative position is created. There is an administrator on my campus who is fond of telling me that he knows that I should be paid better almost every time that we meet. Sometimes I wonder, does he think that merely admitting this is helpful in some fashion, or is he in my face? I worry that my financial issues may interfere with my teaching. A great deal of my success as a professor involves my engaged pedagogy and advising. I endeavor to know all of my students as people. I'm committed to devoting more time to office hours and advising after class sessions. I even continue to advise and mentor students that have graduated from our system, offering my services on MA and PhD committees, writing recommendations, and serving as a reference for employment. I know that the work that I do is important, that my students value me, and that I certainly contribute to the well-being of the state of California. But I also know that my work is undervalued by the administration throughout the CSU system. The only way for me to make a middle-class living in the CSU system is to become an administrator, part of the expanding managerial class whose salaries have risen precipitously even in spite of the financial crisis. But I don't want to be an administrator. I want to teach. I want to advise. I want to mentor. This is my calling. And as a faculty of color, I think it's paramount that I spend my career in the classroom, continuing to serve traditionally underrepresented populations. I admit my reluctance to speak in public about my own personal struggles, but I do feel strongly that the silence has to be broken, and I hope that you have taken me seriously. Thank you.
Hello. Greetings, Chancellor White, Board of Trustees, Presidents, and especially President Castro, where I am a student at Fresno State, a graduate student. I'm also a teaching associate in English, and I'm the newly appointed president of UAW 4123, the local and the union that represents more than 9,000 of our CSU TAs, GAs, and ISAs. Thank you for your time. We were dealing with an issue at Fresno State that I believe is system-wide, and that is no tuition waivers being granted for many of our TAs. Across the country, this is a standard. Many of our professors would not have been able to get through graduate school or their professional degrees without tuition waivers. But thanks to President Castro and our Fresno State Academic Senate, we recently were approved of a tuition waiver that was unanimously voted on by our Academic Senate that has led us into negotiations and into a meeting with the ad hoc tuition waiver meeting that is being overseen by our graduate dean, Jim Marshall. In this meeting, we are coming to terms with the language of the policy that will implement for the very first time at Fresno State tuition waivers for teaching associates. My earnest hope is that Fresno State can be a model of equitable treatment of another marginalized group of employees, teaching associates. Many campuses, I know that San Jose State, I believe there's a couple others that do implement these, but I know it's a standard across the country. And as my wonderful president of our university says, we're to be bold in making changes to put CSUs on the map as treating their employees equitably, as treating our employees as being, and faculty members and teachers of record, everyone, no matter what they do, we're to be treated in a bold way that says to our country that we take this seriously. Tuition waivers will be a great recruitment tool for our university to bring the best and brightest graduate students to our school. But more importantly, these tuition waivers will help assist our fight against student debt. Graduate students are riddled with debt. I know that when I finally get my master's next year, I will have over $60,000 in student debt because I have to pay for my education. But I teach, and I love to teach. But I pay more for my education than I do get paid as a teaching associate. So all that said, this is a good thing. And President Castro, I thank you so much for being a leader and for being bold in this decision to help us, helping the TAs, helping our local, helping make bold choices. Thank you so much. And in closing, tuition waivers are a great win-win for all CSUs, for all students, for all TAs, GAs, ISAs, and the entire CSU system. Thank you so much for your time.
Ms. Hernandez, did we get everyone? Okay, thank you. I want to thank all the speakers for your remarks. We appreciate your comments and your participation, and we'll now move on with the balance of the agenda. I am pleased to begin today's chair's report with a special presentation. Exactly 1 year ago, Cal State San Marcos came under threat. A raging wildfire encroached the campus, forcing evacuations of students, faculty, and staff preparing for graduation. This year it was thunderstorms, but another story. Mother Nature has not been kind to our friends at San Marcos as of late. We've heard many incredible stories from the public safety officers and other members of the CSU community who stayed behind during the height of the wildfire to sustain emergency operations on campus. Rushing to the scene were countless police and fire personnel protecting the public and combating the fire. Local military units mobilized alongside civilian public safety. Providing air support was a helicopter crew, fighting the fire that threatened homes, businesses, and the San Marcos campus. From their Eagle Wing perspective, they took part in a tremendous coordinated effort that saved lives and livelihoods. With that, it is my tremendous privilege to yield the floor to Commander Steve Everidge, officer in charge of the HSC-3 Southern California Offshore Range Detachment. Pacific. Commander Everidge.
In San Diego. Perfect. Some of you may recall the Cedar Fire of 2003. It was a highly destructive fire that swept through much of San Diego County. It burned to the coast in some places. It also led to sweeping changes in the way firefighters respond to wildland firefighting, to the fires themselves. One of the changes that occurred was it led to the formation of a close working relationship between U.S. Navy helicopters in San Diego with CAL FIRE. My unit was tasked to be the lead unit in developing that relationship with CAL FIRE, and we're now the training program managers for firefighting for all San Diego-based Navy helicopters, and also the first responders when CAL FIRE calls us to assist. So since 2003, we've had the opportunity to contribute to firefighting support on a variety of fires, mostly in San Diego County, but also as far north as Big Sur and other places. Most recently, last year, as was stated, we sent 6 aircraft for 3 days fighting the Cocos Fire as well as many fires on Camp Pendleton. Our flight crews were happy to support, and I'm very proud of the fact that we can support our community. And also the ones assigned to the Cocos Fire were operating in and around the campus of Cal State University San Marcos. So President Haynes, would you join me at the podium, please? On the 1-year anniversary, we just wanted to take a moment to commemorate those actions and present President Haynes with a framed photograph of a Navy helicopter in action. And hopefully we won't have to fight another fire again, but we'll be ready in the future to do it. Thank you so much for your time.
It's my deep appreciation for your service to our country, to California, and to the people of San Diego County, which is where I grew up. So you've been very gracious in joining us today, presenting this photo to President Haynes. I know she loves surprises, but it's all of us, frankly, that owe you a debt of gratitude. And so thank you again. You know, I also want to thank our good friend Admiral Cropper for his assistance in connecting the university with this brave crew. You know, we often talk about the CSU as one family and one community. The members of the U.S. Navy's Helicopter Sea Combat Wing, you are forever a part of our family for defending our community. Thank you. From the front line of firefighting to the front line of medicine, 18 Cal State campuses were recognized in Nurses Journal Best Nursing Schools, Best in the West Region rankings. The rankings were based on over 20 metrics, including quality, affordability, convenience, satisfaction, and value. 15 CSU campuses were included in the top 25, or in the top 50, and 7 in the top 25. Cal State Dominguez Hills was ranked as the #1 nursing school in the Western region. Absolutely. It's amazing to consider that 49%, almost half of the state's nursing bachelor's degrees are earned here in the CSU. We are all on the front line of preparing today's nurses and other medical specialists. CSU campuses are also on the front line of business. We recently had a reminder of that when Fortune magazine, in partnership with Money magazine, released a list of the 25 best colleges for earning a degree in business, and appearing on that distinguished list was Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Congratulations. Congratulations as well to the Dominguez Hills men's golf team for winning the 2015 PGA Minority Collegiate Golf Championship held at the PGA Golf Club in Port St. Lucie in Florida in May. It was a very close tournament, and persevering through poor weather, the Dominguez Hills team showed immense resolve and focus to bring the championship back to California. Congratulations as well to the women's softball teams from San Diego and Northridge for their impressive seasons and qualifying for the 2015 NCAA Division I softball tournament. While rankings and championships can never tell the full story of the lives of CSU campuses' influence, we can all celebrate when the hard work of students, faculty, and staff is recognized. And while the work of the CSU is never finished, good colleagues and friends do eventually come to the end of their time with us. We are losing 4 such friends today. We will have another opportunity to hear from each of them later, but I wanted to take a moment and express my appreciation for their service. President Alex Gonzalez was previously acknowledged for the Case Award he recently earned for his leadership of the university advancement and advocacy efforts. It also says much about Alex's leadership that he was the founding member of the President's Council on Underserved Communities. Alex has always been a champion of opportunity with quality for all students, and he has empowered success for the students, faculty, and staff of Sacramento State. We are also saying goodbye to Kristen Krellian, who is ending her 2nd term as the Alumni Council President. Kristen has overseen major statewide alumni initiatives during her tenure, including the Class of 3 Million celebration. On a personal note, I'm grateful to Kristen's leadership during the alumni trustee search and the way she and her colleagues have embraced and supported me in the role as alumni trustee. Kristen is a dedicated and conscientious volunteer leader who wears her CSU pride on her sleeve. She has spent untold hours away from her job and family to support our university. Last but not least, I will miss Trustee Alexanian's voice and counsel in our deliberations. Talar speaks with authority on issues that affect our students, which is really everything we do. Talar has helped address some of the CSU's most contentious issues over the last 2 years and played an important role as a problem solver and as a consensus builder. Talar is a tremendous advocate for the CSU Board of Trustees and her communication with lawmakers and the university community, and she will be missed. We're also going to say goodbye to our good friend Devon Graves. Devon ends his 2nd year as chair of CSSA, having also stepped up to assume the responsibilities as president this year. Simultaneously, Devon has served as the governor's appointee to the California Student Aid Commission and is a member of the search committee for the executive vice chancellor for academic affairs and student affairs. To Devon and Talar and Kristen and Alex, I will miss each of you, but I also know that as you exit your current roles, you are finding new ways to lead and advocate for the CSU. Thank you all, and particular congratulations go to Devon and Talar on your graduations. Welcome to the Class of 3 Million. We are proud of your successes, and you are the real reasons we're all here, so congratulations. I will now turn things over to our newest trustee, and though he may be new to this board, Cy Abrego, better known as Cy by the Cal State Fullerton community, brings with him decades of CSU experience. Cy, will you please share a few words with us?
I'll be brief, and I really don't know where to start. I have nearly 40 years of experience working in higher education. My first job was in Washington, D.C., writing and generating grants for the L.A. area, actually for the Southwest. And it all focused on recruitment and retention and graduating of low-income first-generation college students. That experience was followed by work at the University of Southern California as a director of el Centro Chicano, and then later on as assistant dean of the College of Education, where again I was able to use my skill in developing and writing more grants for USC. At USC, if you don't write grants, your career there is short-lived. So I was able to take that experience to Cal State Fullerton. Now, when I left USC, I was there for 12 years, and not that time period was just a little bit too long. So I decided that I would start to move every 5 years to keep myself active and share new experiences and so forth. I ended up going to Cal State Fullerton, and I stayed there for 27 years. I started at Cal State Fullerton as Director of Student Academic Services and retired 3 years ago as the Acting Vice President for Student Affairs. Many people ask me what motivated me to pursue a career in student advocacy work. And a couple of life experiences helped shape my career. And that was my experience in high school. I graduated from Ganesha High School. It was a school district that did little to encourage minority students to pursue higher education. At that time, they would track the minority students into vocational ed courses, wood shop, metal shop, drafting, electronics. So there's very little discussion and motivation to pursue higher education. The only option that we had upon graduation was either the military or the workforce. I went into the military. There was another life experience that helped me motivate me to pursue a higher education and working with educational opportunity students. And that was in my early days in high school. Our family was seasonal migrant workers. We picked grapes in Fresno and Selma. We picked plums in Santa Rosa. And we picked wine grapes in Cucamonga. Now it's called Rancho Cucamonga. And if you want to get motivated to go to college, spend a day in the hot sun, pick and crop. I mean, that'll inspire you real quick. So I do credit those life experiences. I also credit my high school counselor who told me that I wasn't college material and I wasn't going to amount. I thank him for giving me the motivation to proving him wrong. I went to school. I started school at Mount Sagrin, went to Santa Ana, and then I went to Long Beach. It was really Long Beach that provided me the quality of education. Not only the education, but the opportunity to be a student advocate. Being at Long Beach gave me the opportunity to work with individuals like Cesar Chavez, Cel Castro, Reyes Tejerina, and other leaders of the civil rights movement. So I do give credit to Long Beach for having that opportunity to not only earn my degree, but also to sharpen my leadership skills and work on social issues. To me, education has given me a meaningful life. And I see that our communities, particularly our low-income minority communities, appreciate education. And they aspire to having a meaningful life. So I'm really excited about being here as a board member and working alongside my other colleagues. And hopefully that my input will help shape some lives for some young people.
Well, Cy, thank you again. And having had the privilege of working with you over the years at AHI, I know we are all going to benefit from your insight and wisdom and leadership, and look forward to working with you. So welcome again. I'm also going to take a moment of personal privilege and yield the floor for a second to my colleague Larry Norton, who asked me if he could make a brief comment.
I assured Chair Monville that I was not going to use this opportunity to critique his management of the meeting. We'll do that later. I hope that you will indulge me for a moment. I just wanted to make a kind of personal observation. I kind of stepping back at the experience of the last 2 days. I guess I've had two reactions. On the one hand, thinking back to the budget discussion yesterday, the comments, the presentation this morning on academic efficiencies, some of the items that Lou has highlighted in his comments a few moments ago, I think of a line from the play The Gondoliers by Gilbert and Sullivan, "This is too much happiness." At the same time, listening to the public comments, all of the public comments a few moments ago, I'm reminded of a line from the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance. Golf is a game you cannot win, you can only play. So also with the work of the CSU, we can only engage in the work, but the work will never be complete. But I just wanted to state that I hope we will continue going forward together. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughtful comments, Larry. I will yield the floor to you anytime. Finally, not to steal any thunder of my friends in the ACT report, but I do want to address an issue that has, I think, this board's full attention, And this is the issue of the pilot program for community college bachelor degrees. The CSU and community colleges have a strong educational partnership, and we have seen that partnership strengthen in the recent years. We've made progress on a seamless transfer process between systems to better serve the students we both educate, and we share in many community-based research and service learning activities. Both our systems have excellent faculty and staff, and I have personally been honored to work with the faculty and staff of both systems as a member of the Community College Board of Governors and as a member of this CSU Board of Trustees. In these roles, I've learned that we are at our best when we are united. The CSU was supportive in the legislative process that won the California community colleges the authority to offer up to 15 community college bachelor's pilot programs. We offered our support with the understanding that these pilot programs would be distinctly different from what the CSU offers. We supported this pilot as a means to expand educational opportunity and capacity rather than duplicate CSU programs or curricula. I joined the CSU faculty in my concern that the process for the 15 pilot bachelor's programs was not as consultative as it should have been, and that some of the pilot programs that are approved are problematic. The Chancellor and I have discussed and agreed that there is room for improvement in the consultation and development process for these programs. These programs are, again, part of a pilot, and they are intended to allow the community college partners to test the waters. That pilot is much more likely to produce a positive path forward if the CSU and community colleges continue to work together. I have full confidence in the faculty and administrative leadership of both systems to find a way to serve California students better by creating opportunities that are in fact new and not duplicative of what our CSU campuses offer. And we will continue to seek additional state funding to sustain academic excellence, maintain infrastructure, and meet the growing demand for our existing, proven, and high-quality CSU bachelor's degree programs. That concludes my report, and we'll now turn to the Chancellor for his report. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chair Monville. I join you in formally welcoming Cy Abrego to his first Board of Trustees meeting. Cy, I look forward to your experience, your leadership, your insight as we move forward together. Welcome back to the CSU. Actually, welcome home. I'd like to add my lasting thanks and congratulations to Trustee Talar Alexanian, whose term, as you know, as student trustee comes to a close following her graduation at CSUN. You know, I was there. Talar smiles a lot anyhow, but I had the vantage from the dais as she walked across to accept her diploma from President Harrison to see the biggest smile I've ever seen on that young woman. So, deservedly so. Talar, you have represented the best interests of your fellow students while providing insight and has helped advance the work of this board and the mission of the CSU. I'd also like to thank Sacramento State President Alex Gonzalez for his nearly 40 years, Alex, of exemplary service to the CSU, to the Sacramento community, other communities along the way, and of course the state of California. Alex, best wishes and congrats on a richly deserved retirement. Thanks also to Alumni Council President Kristen Krellin for joining us for her final Board of Trustees meeting. She's become and is well regarded as an innovative leader for the CSU alumni. Kristen, thanks for your vision and your lifelong commitment to this university and its mission. And to Devon Graves, the CSSA President and graduating senior, thank you for you and thank you for your leadership. And lastly, a tip of the hat to Ephraim Smith, who served CSU well for over 25 years. You know, he announced his retirement last year, and we celebrated it then. But after some gentle prodding, agreed to stay in his role as Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Academic Officer through the remainder of this academic year to accommodate the needs of the transition timeline. So, Ephraim, thanks again for all that you've done for this university, and congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. Before moving on to make a few more statements about the CSU and the achievements of our community, I want to, as my duty under the Education Code, to report approved changes in admission practices before those changes can be enacted. Cal State Northridge has demonstrated that it is receiving more applications from upper division transfer applicants than it has the capacity to serve. In addition, the Fresno, Monterey Bay, Northridge, Pomona, San Jose, and Sonoma campuses have demonstrated they are receiving more applications from applicants in specific academic programs during the initial filing period than all 6 campuses have complied with the provisions of the Ed Code that require a series of public hearings, public disclosure, in advance of submitting their final program impaction requests, and have been approved to implement these changes in admission practices for the 2016-17 academic year. I know that all of us are deeply concerned that the CSU must turn away eligible applicants. Yet access without quality is a false promise. Access without sufficient courses, support services, and opportunities to enhance classroom, laboratory, clinical, studio, and field learning is a false promise. Access without adequate faculty and adequate staff to mentor and advise and teach students is a false promise. So until we are adequately funded in a way that allows us to meet California's true demand for an educated citizenry, campuses will be forced to make difficult choices that balance opportunity and quality in order to ensure those students we are able to serve are empowered to succeed. I thank the presidents and the faculty and staff of our campuses for the thoughtful, accountable, and consultative way these decisions are being requested and made and implemented. That doesn't, however, soften the pain that these decisions create for our university, nor for the students denied. In the weeks and years ahead, we have much work to do regarding proper and competitive compensation for all of our employee groups. We are committed to this while balancing all of our priorities: access, student success, counseling services for our students, technology infrastructure for our learning environments, physical infrastructure for our learning environments, Title IX coordinators for our climates, just to name a few. We are also committed to live within our means. I want to remind us that we committed to a 3% compensation pool for this current 14-15 year, and we did it. We committed to 2% for each of the next 2 years, and we did it. We also, I want to remind us, committed to a campus-based equity program that is proportionate to the needs and the capacities, financial capacities, of the individual campuses, and we did that. Let me share, in the spirit of balanced conversations, that since yesterday's meeting and open comment, I've been copied on several emails regarding faculty salary. From one professorial faculty member to his or her president, and I want to keep these anonymous, I'm going to paraphrase or quote, "You have heard many complaints about faculty salary. Being one who complained, now it is only fair to thank you for the recent equity adjustment. The shift in my quality of life opportunities is tremendous." And paraphrasing from another campus professional to his or her president, "On behalf of our faculty, we greatly appreciate your willingness to work together on addressing the salary issues that have plagued faculty and providing the more inclusive and cooperative organizational climate has been key." Vice President Lamb and I, indeed all of us, have heard the comments on the workplace environment, in particular abusive conduct. We take this seriously. We responded by establishing over 2 months ago now a system-wide workplace environment committee, which has broad representation of all the stakeholders at all levels within the university. That thoughtful work is underway. It will be brought forward and reported to the board when it is complete, and we anticipate that being during the academic year 15-16. But Vice President Lamb is also undertaking some more immediate efforts than later in places where we can. But let me be very clear. I am committed to this. Everyone deserves a respectful and welcoming environment where they can succeed. I ask all CSU faculty, staff, administration, leadership teams, students to join me in this commitment effective immediately. It is a shared responsibility, but it is also an individual responsibility and an obligation. Where this behavior exists, we can and we will do better. I'd like to turn to highlight many successes achieved by CSU students, faculty, and staff. Earlier this month, the Cal State undergraduate and graduate students from 22 campuses participated in the 29th annual CSU Student Research Competition held at San Bernardino. 200 research projects in the fields of biology, agriculture, economics, education, physical and mathematical sciences, health and nutrition sciences, social sciences, and so many more were presented to judges from the business, philanthropic, government, and academic sectors. So congratulations to all of the student research teams that participated and to the 38 first and second place teams on their awards. 2 Cal State campuses, Los Angeles and San Jose, were recently awarded a combined total of $9.6 million research grants from NASA as part of its Minority University Research and Education project. In fact, Cal State LA and San Jose State received 2 of the 10 total grants awarded nationwide by NASA. 2 of the 10 awarded nationwide by NASA and out of 76 overall proposals submitted to the agency. As part of the grant award, both campuses will be establishing institutional research opportunity centers to study hydrology, climate change, and other STEM fields. It is clear that the high-quality scholarship and expertise of our students, faculty, and staff is of significant value. $10 million to NASA's scientists and administrators. And from the clouds to the soil, innovation and discovery continues to run deep through this university. San Diego State students recently won first place in the Richard Barentine Values and Ventures Business Plan competition held at Texas Christian University. And while the first place award they received, out of 50 entries, by the way, that in itself is a fantastic achievement. But the nature of their entry is an amazing triumph in its own right, one that has real potential to feed millions, to bring entire communities and populations out of poverty, and to significantly change the world. The winning team of students from San Diego State developed an innovative thresher device that can dramatically improve the efficiency and the efficacy of Ethiopian farmers to harvest a regional supergrain called teff with just the push of a pedal. After testing the device during visits to Ethiopia earlier this year, local teff farmers named the thresher Merga, which is Amharic, means the right machine. Local farmers in Ethiopia were ecstatic about the potential that this machine, developed by our incredible students, has to feed their communities and improve their economies by allowing them now for the first time to export this grain to markets throughout Africa and Europe. And the team from San Diego State will invest the funds that they received from winning this award into the development and production of a third prototype and hope to get that device in the hands of teff farmers very soon. That's the revolutionary power that this university holds, the power to build amazing things, to shape countless lives, and to make positive global change. I think we are all inspired by these examples and the immense talent and creativity and work ethic that our students, faculty, and staff every single day. And when others look at the state of higher education across the nation and fret that our best days are behind us, I say nonsense. I point to examples like those as to why the CSU is best positioned to move California's and the world's economy and society forward. Indeed, for our students, today will become the good old days as their life progresses. Chair Monville, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor. Now for the report of the Academic Senate, Chair Stephen Pilling.
Good morning, all. Talar and Devon, I want to echo the comments you've heard and note also that you are the epitome of what we do. You manage to juggle 40 hours a week of work, plus untold social engagements, plus succeeding in class, and you want more, so you're going to graduate school. I'm truly impressed. As you're aware, the Academic Senate speaks formally through resolutions. You should have copies of them in your packets. The first one, CSU involvement in the Witchy Passport Project, speaks to the Western Interstate Commission on Higher Education. They have a passport project that is intending to craft sort of a bulk packaging of general education and get that certified across those states and institutions. Our intent is to help the Witchy group understand that we're glad to be part of their conversation, but we did not and indeed don't have the authority to sign on to mandate acceptance of their general ed package by everybody that is in this. Understand that we can be part of the conversation, but we really shouldn't be listed on their website as participants. Our second statement spoke to a plan to increase tenure density in the California State University. I think you've heard a lot in the last 2 days about the need for faculty. What we are asking is that you and the Chancellor work with ASCSU and CFA to develop and implement a plan to at least 75% and to reduce the student-faculty ratio on each campus to no more than 18.1% in 10 years. Those are aspirational goals, obviously maybe rather cheeky goals, but they are goals, and I think they speak to the need to have the faculty here that can enable student success. We also asked the Chancellor to include progress on those goals in the annual President's Performance Reviews in terms of heightening accountability. AS 321015 speaks to Executive Order 669 governing campus lease agreements. We ask that the Chancellor and the appropriate stakeholders revise Executive Order 699 to update practices and procedures followed by all campuses and auxiliaries for the purposes of ensuring, through consultation prior to a campus executing real estate lease agreements affecting the campus community, that those agreements don't have deleterious effects upon us. We hope that Order 699 may be revised to prohibit campuses and auxiliaries from allowing the lease of space to for-profit entities duplicating degree programs offered at a campus. The proximate cause for this resolution is the situation at Sacramento State, where the third floor of one of the foundation buildings has been leased to something called California North State University, which intends to offer a health sciences program that competes directly with California State University Sacramento's health sciences program. AS 3211 speaks to our expectations for upper division general education. As you've heard earlier this morning, there's been a bit of discussion about California community colleges issuing BA degrees. We are trying to be prepared for the reality that there are going to be people that get partway through those programs and then decide that they want to shift to the CSU. We are trying to establish priorities on what we expect upper division general ed to encompass so that when they want to transfer that stuff, we have some mechanism for deciding whether they've been trained appropriately or not. And finally, AS 3212 is a call for adequate and appropriate consultation regarding the California Community College pilot baccalaureate degree programs. Chair Monville, thank you very much for the statement this morning. I appreciate the expression of our unanimity of interest. The Academic Senate, as I suspect Chancellor White, found the consultation process somewhat less than workable. In a couple instances, we were provided 2-sentence descriptions of programs and asked to decide whether they consisted of duplication or not within 2 days. That's pretty clearly untenable. Our Chancellor has been, I think, very active in pushing the community colleges to provide more reasonable timelines. With some success, the resolution also directed me to attend the Board of Governors meeting of the community colleges. Last Monday, I did so, conveyed our position, and ended up having a rather interesting interchange with Governor Brown. I have to confess that I never expected to be sitting at a California Board of Governors meeting listening to the governor of California quote Chairman Mao at me. However, he did. His question about duplication basically was, why not let 1,000 flowers bloom? And the response I have for him is, okay, as long as the state's willing to water the flowers, I think they probably will bloom. It's unclear to me that the state is willing to water those flowers at this point. Hopefully we can help them understand the need for that. I asked Chair Monville's indulgence because I wanted to speak a little bit about online instruction. A caveat first up, I teach blended classes. I taught an online class once. It was a very frustrating experience for me and for my students, and I decided probably not a good thing to repeat until I understood it better. Trustee Eisen, you used the metaphor of the path through the woods earlier today, and I think that's an apt one. We are searching for a path through the woods that gets people to the other side, preferably in a fairly expeditious manner, but I think we also have to acknowledge that we can't build the 405 through the woods. We can't because some people are driving, some people are walking, some people are biking, some people want to take the bus. The pride of the CSU has always been its ability to deal with a great diversity of students, a great diversity of backgrounds, and find ways to let people succeed. Above all else, we don't want to lose that. So when we look at online instruction, I think the most honest thing I can say is we are learning. My colleagues and I, my 25,000 colleagues and I, are doing everything we can to figure this out, subject to one dictum. Our students come first. I'm immensely aware that what I do impacts people's lives, and I'm probably conservative with respect to taking chances with the outcomes on those lives. Our students come first. What we know from the research, interaction matters. It's that relationship with the faculty member that matters actually more than which textbook you use. We also know that online instruction has some issues for undergraduate students, most especially for undergraduate students who might not be fully prepared, most especially for undergraduate students coming from other than educational backgrounds. In other words, a lot of our underrepresented minorities. Trustee Taylor asked this morning for information on campus uptake of online. He referred to determining which campuses are laggards in that regard. I have to confess I find that a rather troubling request because my perception is my colleagues are adopting online education when it fits their students. Our students are just of such wide variety that it makes absolutely no sense to treat online education as if we are ordering meals at McDonald's. The students at Dominguez Hills are not the students at San Jose, are not the students at my campus Stanislaus. The strength of the CSU has been treating them differently. Likewise, the notion of being efficient by using a single learning management system. One of the realities of education is it requires innovation. Innovation requires people to think about what they do in different ways. That is highlighted by having opportunities to use different systems. I use Blackboard, I also use Moodle, that's part of pushing the edge, and one of the things we really don't want to do is trounce on that innovation by forcing people to use a single package. I think there are a lot of efficiencies of standardization at play here. Given that it's almost lunchtime, I keep popping into restaurant metaphors. We can't say we'll only have McDonald's. Maybe it's an okay thing to have McDonald's and Chipotle. Maybe it's even okay to have Chez Panisse once in a while. In summary, my colleagues are on online education. They are the front line for the rest of the country on how to do online education. No matter what Arizona State says, California is the place where it starts. They're on it, they've been on it, but it will continue to be subject to our prime directive. Our students come first. We will not hurt them. Thank you, Chair Monville.
Thank you. Report of the CSU Alumni Council, President Kristen Krellian.
Thank you, Chair Monville. The Alumni Council would also like to offer congratulations to Talar and Devon. We're very excited to watch your futures. Congratulations. We have reached the height of our celebration of the Class of 3 Million commencement. For those who haven't visited recently, I encourage you to go to the Class of 3 Million yearbook and view the photos graduates are posting using the hashtag CSU3Mil. It is so wonderful to see our most recent graduates show off the pride they have for their campus and the pride they have in being part of the larger CSU family. Not only are they our future alumni leaders, but they are also our future university advocates. The Alumni Council has been proud to sponsor the Class of 3 Million wristbands that graduates are receiving at their commencement ceremonies as a reminder of their lifetime connection to the California State University. You see some proud San Marcos grads here on the screen from last weekend's commencement. Another exciting part of the Class of 3 Million celebration to share with you today is the public announcement of the winners of the 3 $10,000 scholarships sponsored by Herff Jones. Herff Jones is an integral part of our university commencement ceremonies, providing graduation announcements, caps and gowns, class rings, diploma frames, and many other items that help our graduates celebrate their accomplishment. They stepped up to provide a $50,000 sponsorship to help us produce the Class of 3 Million celebration this year, and designated $30,000 of this to be awarded as scholarships to alumni who participated in the online yearbook as a way to promote lifelong education. I'd like to offer my sincere appreciation to Herff Jones for their commitment to our campus and to the Class of 3 Million. And now I'd like to announce the 3 alumni drawn at random to receive the $10,000 scholarships. 2 of them are with us today, and we are so thrilled that they took time out of their busy to join us. First, who wasn't able to join us today, is Dana Stemmet. She's a graduate of both CSU Stanislaus with her bachelor's degree in liberal studies and San Jose State with her master's degree in library and information science. She also has multiple teaching credentials from both campuses. She is a teacher librarian at Thomas Downey High School in Modesto. She is thrilled at her selection as a scholarship recipient and shared she had a hard time getting to sleep when she found out because she's thinking of all the possibilities. She is hearted this week as it is book check-in week at her high school, which we all know is a very busy time for a teacher librarian. Congratulations to Dana. Second, joining us today is Gordon Jones, a graduate of CSU Northridge with his bachelor's degree in history. Gordon is a fiber design engineer with AT&T, where he has worked for 33 years. He shares that he is very proud of being a CSUN alumnus and that it led him to AT&T, where he got a job right after graduation. He must have a good lucky streak and good timing because early on in the Class of 3 Million celebration, he also won a social media contest, which we ran by he was the 1,000th profile in the yearbook. Gordon was the beginning of a family legacy at CSUN, with both his son and daughter earning degrees from this university. His son is a teacher and his daughter works in digital marketing. His wife, Kathy, has joined him today. Congratulations to Gordon. Also joining us today is our 3rd scholarship winner, Paul Gomez. He's a graduate of Cal State LA with his bachelor's degree in journalism. Paul is a public information officer for the City of Los Angeles and is also a board member of the Cal State LA Alumni Association. We've asked Paul if he would share a few words with you about his Cal State LA experience and why he continues to be involved with his university today. Paul.
Good morning. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words to the Board of Trustees and those in attendance. I'd like to express my thanks to the Alumni Council for all their work on the Class of 3 Million. And I'm honored, along with my fellow recipients, to receive the scholarship. I'm proud to be a graduate and alumni of the California State University system and Cal State Los Angeles. My time as a student at the university was wonderful and incredibly rewarding, providing me a well-rounded experience that prepared me for life after college. I received a quality education from an outstanding group of professors who was actively involved in various organizations and worked on campus, all which helped me tremendously as I pursued my degree in journalism. For all that Cal State Los Angeles provided me as a student, I wanted a way to give back. And for the past 15 years, I have been involved with the Cal State LA Alumni Association, serving in various capacities, including, as already mentioned, a current member of the Board of Directors and as a mentor. I have thoroughly enjoyed my involvement and staying connected with the university, working and interacting with outstanding alumni and students, and will continually support the university under the leadership of President Covino. I encourage all alumni to support the university in whatever capacity they can. It has been a truly rewarding experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul, and congratulations to you, Gordon, and Dana as winners of the Class of 3 Million Herff Jones Scholarships. And thank you again for being with us today. So personally, I would like to thank you, Chair Monville, and all the trustees for the respect and support you've shown for me during my 2 years as Alumni Council President. It has been a great adventure for me. Watching and observing Lori Redfern, Karen Zamaripa, and Garrett Ashley has made me a better professional, and I've learned from all of them. A special thank you to Aaron Moore for his leadership and passion for the CSU and all the alumni. Dia Poole will be a great leader for this Alumni Council, and I look forward to finding ways that I can continue to support our 3 million alumni. Thank you, Chair Monville. That concludes my report.
Kristen, thank you again for your service, and you will be missed, but I know you won't be far, so we'll look forward to working with you in the future. The report of the California State Student Association, their president, Devon Graves, recent graduate.
Not yet,
Devon,
3 more
close.
weeks. Close. Thank you, Chair Monville. CSSA has hosted 2 plenary meetings since we reported to you last, one at San Francisco State University and one at San Diego State University. Highlights from these meetings include a major revision to our Constitution and policies, the adoption of an expanded and stabilized CSSA budget plan, and taking positions of support or opposition on higher education legislation. We also conducted interviews for the student trustee position, and we are happy to announce that the CSSA board has nominated 2 names to the governor, Adriana Bowles of Sacramento State and Maggie White from CSU Stanislaus. We wish them the both of them the best of luck through the appointment process. As I reported in March, we're finalizing our new strategic plan, which will help define our organization's student involvement and advocacy programs moving forward. This plan will remain consistent with the tenets of the policy you adopted to provide CSSA with stable, meaningful, and more independent funding and capacity. Thank you again for that support. As students register for fall classes, they will now have the opportunity to contribute $2 through the student involvement and representation fee. I want to thank all the campus financial services staff and Associated Students Auxiliaries who are assisting with the SURF informational campaigns. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate and welcome new leadership in our system. I want to congratulate Dr. Filling on your re-election as chair of the Senate, and thank Kristen for your service, and also welcome to Dia Poole, the new Alumni Council President. And we too are conducting our elections, and by July we'll have our new officers who I trust will continue our strong working relationship with the Chancellor, trustees, legislator, and other important partners. To those partners, thank you. The Alumni Council, presidents, trustees, and the Academic Senate have all been supportive of student leadership. We are looking forward to new possibilities between you and our new leadership. As mentioned throughout this board meeting, the Governor's May Revise was released last Thursday and provides an additional $38 million in ongoing funding for the CSU, as well as Prop 39 money to help with energy efficiency projects. While we believe this is a good first step, we do believe that CSU students are being left behind. We look to Speaker Atkins and Pro Temp De Leon to continue standing with students and fight for $97 million or more in the final budget. And we stand to support your efforts, and we especially stand to support you, Speaker Atkins. We also want to express our particular appreciation to the CSU and Academic Senate for their partnership on this year's budget advocacy efforts. We continue to believe that if we all work together, we can indeed achieve our shared goals. In closing, this is my last meeting, as you've heard, and I would be remiss if I did not thank the strong support of our committed CSSA staff. To Miles and Meredith, who are sitting behind me, and to Cecilia, Chris, and Rob, your experience and support is crucial to our executive committee's annual efforts, and I thank you. And I would just want to take time to thank my executive committee and board of directors. It's been an honor to lead this organization. And on one final note, I want to congratulate the graduating class of 2015, but pay special attention to one of the newest members of the class of 3 million, Trustee Talar Alexanian. Talar, you have been an excellent representative of students and a highly engaged member of CSSA. Thank you, and I'm happy to present to you this certificate that I'm hiding under here for you to thank you for your service. So thank you, Trustee Alexanian. Thank you, Chair Monville. Thank you, Chair Monville. That concludes the report of the California State Student Association.
Devon, thank you, and thank you again for your service. And you did remind me, the students in the future may never fully appreciate what you've done for them and their ability to advocate for their desires and wish with your leadership on the SURF fee. And that's going to long outlive your service and tenure here, and it's something you should always be very proud of. So good work, and good luck on the successful finals. I'm already putting you in the class of 3 million, so I think I can go to the bank. I think I can go to the bank on that. So thank you for that. It's now time for the board to consider the consent agenda, which consists of the approval of the minutes from our last meeting and the approval of the resolutions that were passed in our committees. All of the committee items requiring full board approval are listed on the consent agenda. Does any trustee wish to remove any item from the consent agenda for individual discussion and consideration? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to approve all of the items listed on the consent agenda? I have a motion. Is there a second? A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The items in the consent list on the consent agenda are approved. At this time, we have 2 items on our discussion agenda to honor 2 of our colleagues for who today marks their last meeting in their current roles. These are always bittersweet as we say goodbye to outstanding members of the team. First, the conferral of the title of Trustee Emeritus upon Alexander Gonzalez. Alex has been a tireless champion promoting access, understanding, and support for public higher education in all communities of our state. We wish you and Gloria the best in your retirement, and we will miss your wisdom and guidance dearly. Alex, would you like to say a few parting words?
Thank you, Chairman Monville. 36 years ago, I started at CSU. I didn't know anything about it. I went to Fresno State, partially because of Hugo, Trustee Morales. We ran into each other at Santa Cruz, and he and I had been classmates at Harvard Law School. And he told me he was at Fresno. He was starting a radio station. He was teaching at Fresno State, and it was a wonderful place. I happened to get an offer at Fresno State, and I went to Fresno State. I've never regretted that decision. The career that I've had at 3 campuses have all been just really fulfilling and rewarding. I feel really good about leaving Sacramento. I got a good replacement. He's ready to go. This weekend is commencement. I'm looking forward to all 7 ceremonies where I give the same speech with the same enthusiasm. Looking at the CSU, I think it's just going to be terrific in the future, and I think the leadership that exists now is going to take it forward in ways that we've never even thought of. Thank you.
May I have a motion? We have a motion. Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. The item conferral the title of President Emeritus to Alexander Gonzalez is approved. Alex, would you come down and join us?
Well, Alex, this isn't the first accommodation that I've had the pleasure of giving out, but I will tell you it's the first one in 8 font because the number of whereases had to be reduced down to 1 piece of certificate paper. But as you just heard, the resolution is, of course, to both thank you and confer the title of President Emeritus on Alex Gonzalez with all the rights and privileges there too. Alex, we're so proud of you and grateful for you.
The second item before us is the conferral of the title of Student Trustee Emerita for Talar Alexanian. This marks the last meeting for Talar as a student trustee, and of course, now that she's a graduate, I don't know that we call it, she should be a graduate trustee. As the Chancellor mentioned earlier, Talar has been an outstanding representative, an advocate for the students, faculty, and staff of this university. Talar, would you like to make any parting comments?
Thank you, Chair Monville, and I think bittersweet's the right way to put it, but it has been an incredible journey being a part of the CSU system, both as a student and being the product of this high-quality education that we give out, but also to be a leader of the system the past 2 years, especially in this role. And education has always been something ingrained upon me from a young age. My parents went to Cal State LA. I'm now a graduate of CSUN, and my brother is soon following right after me as well as a student at CSUN. And so I recognize the transformative force that it plays not only in my life, but in the lives of so many. And I am so glad to have been a part of uplifting and transforming our communities by providing that high quality, accessible, and affordable education that I know we all strive for. So as I leave, I know the path is ending, at least for this chapter, but I know the journey still continues, and I will continue to be a strong advocate for our system and thank all of you for your steadfast leadership, because I know I'm leaving in good hands. And I'm proud to be joining the class of 3 million and be a part of it now, and I look forward to continuing relationships with all of you and striving for that education system that we all know that we want for the state of California. So thank you.
May I have a motion? So moved. We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item of the conferral of the title of Student Trustee Emerita for Talar Alexanian is approved. Talar, would you join us?
So I'm very, very pleased to give to Talar this conferral of the Student Trustee Emerita, a resolution by the board, and thank her for her leadership. The fact that her baby brother is behind her means we may not be done with Alexanians quite yet. So you've set a pretty high bar for him. So we have counseling services and all that kind of stuff to help him. There you go. And your mom's here, so she's gonna we'll bring her. Once you get to look at this one. Yep. Thanks for bringing Brett up.
We had the pleasure of getting to meet Talar's parents last night and with them, and who are rightly proud. And it's been a privilege to serve with you, Talar. So, well, on that note, the next meeting of the CSU Board of Trustees is scheduled for July 20 and 21, 2015. Notice of the board retreat and meeting will go out in the ordinary course 10 days in advance of those meetings. We are adjourned.
This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly. This is the California State University Office of the Chancellor's live stream. Please adjust your audio accordingly.